Hello and welcome, and today we're going to talk about the file structure as well as where you can find various things about Project Zomboid in your computer. So first we're going to cover where you can find your save files, where to put the mods, where you can find the workshop files, and where you can find a directory. So let's start with a directory. Depending on where you installed Project Zomboid, it's going to be dependent on each system. If you just install it on C drive or whatever, but let's go ahead and I'll show you how you actually can find it. First, you're going to open up Steam, right click on Project Zomboid, select Properties, Local Files, and browse Local Files. This will bring you directly to your directory of Project Zomboid. I've also got that. Well, actually, it just closed it on me. Okay. Let me bring it back up. Well, let me just do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. So now we got it back up, let's talk about that real quick. In here, you're typically not going to mess with anything in here unless you know what you're doing. There is a mods folder in here, but do not place any mods. It's just not going to work in here. You can check out media, and in here, this is very useful to kind of look at for reference to see how they do it. Maybe sometimes you're going to create an item and you want to refer to what items are in here and just kind of copy it with how they did it. So for instance, let's say items food. You're going to open that up and then you can see dog food right here and its stats. So that's where the main directory is. So let's move on and let's talk about where you place your mod files. Now if you're going to install mods manually, this is where you're going to do it. It's going to be in C, users, your username, and Zomboid. In here, you can see a folder called mods. If you click into that, that's where you can drag your mod folder into. Now this is useful for when you're going to test your mod and not release it just yet. So you just want to test it, make sure it works, and once you realize it's good to go, then you can go ahead and upload it to the Steam Workshop. Now moving to saves, this is where your save files are. So if you played single player, you're going to find them here. We've also got Workshop. Now in this folder, when you're getting ready to upload your mod to the Steam Workshop, you're going to place it in here first. And we're going to cover the exact format in a minute. Okay, so let's say you've downloaded a mod from the Steam Workshop and you want to know where that mod file is. So in order to find it, you're going to go to Steam, Steam Apps, Workshop, Content 108600. Now, I have it located in A because it's an NVMe drive, and I've pretty much got a bunch of drives for a bunch of things, so it's going to be a little different for you. So typically you may have it in C drive, but this is, in my case, this is where I have it. And once you get into this folder, you're going to see a lot of numbers. These are mod IDs of the mod, so let's click into it and see what we can find. Okay, Super Nintendo. This is a mod that I've downloaded from the Steam Workshop of a user who made it possible to, I believe, play Super Nintendo. Yeah. So that's what that folder is. Now on the, let me bring this up while we're talking about that. The IDs of those folders, you're going to find the same ID, or you should, on the topic. So Workshop mod ID, that's what that is. You're going to go in here and you're going to search for that folder. So I'm not subscribed to my own mod because I'm working on it, but typically it would show right here and you can click right into it. So that's how you would find it. Okay, so I've covered your Project Zomboid directory, your Workshop directory, and where your saves and mod files should be. So let's go ahead and cover what your mod file structure should actually look like. So I have a simple mod and its structure already made out, and let's say, for instance, we're going to create a simple item in the game with really nothing crazy. It just spawns in the game world, and maybe you can equip it or whatever. But so what you want to start out with is a simple folder called single mod, or simple mod, whatever you want to name it. You click into there, you're going to have 3 files. Another folder called media, mod.info, and poster.png. So let's explore what those 3 things are. So mod info is just a basic file that has information about your mod info, or your mod. It's going to have the name, the poster, which will be right below it here, your mod ID, which is different than the workshop ID. Every mod should have a unique ID to it. Typically what I do is 3 letters. So SMN for simple mod, and M really doesn't stand for anything. So, and a description. You're going to type whatever description it is. Now this description will appear in the main menu when you select mods. You're going to see the poster and the description of what the mod is, as well as the name. Okay, so let's go into the media folder, and we've got a few folders here. Now it's going to depend what folders you have depending on what mod you're making. So let's start with Lua. The Lua folder is going to have client and server. Now client, you're most likely not going to have, but in client there is a Lua file here, and this is really just for debugging. And what I mean by that is when you are testing the mod, you start the game, instead of running to where your mod item spawns to, I have a simple form here that will pretty much have the item in your inventory already. So all you have to do is hit this to true, uncomment what you want, and you're ready to go. So that's what I have in there. You don't need it, so let's just go ahead and move on. The next one is server. Server, items, and then your distributions. Your distributions is how you're going to have your item spawn in the world. And here is a very quick, easy, brief sample of what that looks like. In here, we've got the building, what kind of cabinet or where it spawns. You've got the roles and all that. We'll cover this stuff a little later in a different video. Okay, so let's back up a bit and check out scripts. Now scripts is basically the meat of the mod. That's where everything is. So this, in our case, a simple mod that adds a gun, this is where the actual file is. And this file is going to have the name of it, its attributes. So if it's a gun, it's going to show how loud it is when you fire, the weapon sounds, and all that. So let's go ahead and go back. Now if your mod requires a sound, you're going to place it in this folder here called sound. And it needs to be an OGG file, but in our case, we're not creating a mod that has custom sounds, so we can leave it. And the last file that you will most likely need is going to be textures. If we click into this, we can see a simple item picture here that will show our item in the game. So instead of when you finally find your item while looting, it's not going to have a question mark on it. It's going to have and this image appear. So that's what the mod is. In this case, it's a simple box. And of course, you're going to make sure it says item underscore and whatever the item name is. We can cover more of that later. Okay, so that was a real quick tutorial on how to set up your file structure for your simple mod. So let's go into setting up a file structure for the mod that you're about to upload to the workshop. Now this is a little different. So if we go to our C users, your username, Zomboid, you're going to see a folder called workshop. You're going to click into that, and in here, you're going to have mod template here. This is something we're going to work on. So if we open this up with code, we can see what's in here. Okay, let me back that up a bit and just show you. Alright, so instead of what you're used to, the media, mod info, and poster, it's a little different. The workshop text file you're going to include here, and it's going to show this. Typically what I do is the visibility is public. Description, I just leave blank. The title, I at least name it to what the name of your mod is. With all the description stuff like that, you can fill that in when you're actually editing the mod description in Scene Workshop. Now, I mean, you can do it here, but what I usually do is just upload it blank and then fill it out as soon as it's to the workshop. So the preview is the same thing as the poster up here, but it's just a preview. Now the preview is going to be a little more specific on its measurements. You're going to make sure it's 256 by 256. It's bit depth of 32 and it's a PNG file. Okay, so other than that, we have contents. If we click into that, we have a folder called mods, and then now we see mod template. Mod template is actually going to be your name of the mod. So remember how before we walked into the mod file structure. It's, if we click into that, you see media and all that. That is what is going to go in here. Now, the template that's in the workshop already, it's going to have what you see, pretty much the same thing, but it's got maps. So we're not working with maps right now, so just don't worry about that stuff for now. Okay, so that's about it on the workshop stuff. So let's do one more thing, which pretty much organizing your mod and getting everything, just maximizing your efficiency when modding. So for me, it's really just, I'm going to show you what I do. Now in my setup, I have a simple folder called Project Zomboid Modding. Outside of that, I've also got a shortcut directly to the directory, the user directory, and the workshop mods location. These are areas that I frequent a lot. So pretty much you can open that up in a new tab and it's right there. Now in order to do that, it's very simple. You just right click on your folder, select create shortcut, and there your shortcut is. And that's how you do that. So with those shortcuts out of the way, let's check out the modding folder I've created. In here, I've got a whole bunch of custom stuff that I've been working on over the years. Anything involving maps, I create it in one simple folder here. And basically, I wasn't releasing that I was doing Hawkins, but for those that know, that's for Stranger Things. It's a map I'm working on. And I'm probably going to do South Park as a tutorial, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, those are the maps. The next one is images. This is basically an image bank of all the images that I've found, edited, and used in the game. I keep them here just to kind of make it easy for me to kind of refer to later. With the models, here are the models that I've been working on over the years. I just store them here. Pretty much if we click into AK-47, we've got all the raw craft for it. Now these are still for the build 3.9 and below version, so I haven't updated this in forever. Okay, so ongoing projects is a folder that I have just for my organization. As you can see, there are ongoing projects that I'm working on now. Ooh, that's where it is. I was looking for that. The next one I'm doing is Overlook Hotel, which is actually based on The Shining. So, yeah, I was looking for that. Alright, so that's what those folders are there. Now, releases are basically an archived copy of everything I've released, and pretty much all the version types. This you don't have to have, but I like to keep things organized. So, reverse engineer is a folder where I pull files from the directory and place them here just to kind of refer to use as a template or whatever. The tools folder is basically a list of tools that I've gathered over the years, and I'm kind of paranoid because I don't trust the mirror links because they typically die, so I actually download the file and I store it here. And then just a few notes, that's what I have. So this makes it incredibly easy to just pull up a folder, pull up some shortcuts, and I'm ready to go. I've got a few other monitors I can drag this guy over and start working on, and yeah, that's about it. So if you guys have any questions about the file directory structures or anything like that, just let me know. Check out the YouTube description. I'm going to have shortcuts of where you can find those directories, and yeah, so I'll see you guys later.